Hey everyone, welcome to Crimson Hollow. My name's Courtney and I'm a visual artist as well as a game developer. I'm making a cozy game called Crimson Hollow where you explore a hidden town that's protected by a magical red moon. In this video, I'll be talking about my process for designing hand-drawn graphics, giving you a behind-the-scenes look at character customization, and sharing my current progress on the game. Crimson Hollow is a hand-drawn game in which players will be able to create a unique character, decorate their homes, and explore all that the mysterious town has to offer. This game is currently in development, but it's available now for wishlist on Steam. So if this is a game that you think you would be interested in playing, please be sure to add it to your wishlist and you'll be the first to know when it releases. So why am I making a hand-drawn game? Well, I've always loved visually immersive games, and last year, I decided that I wanted to start my own project that combines the mechanics from my favorite cozy games with fantasy role-playing elements. I'm an artist at heart, so I approach game development with a strong focus on visual communication and user interface design. I also wanted to make Crimson Hollow's development public so that I could collaborate with a community of like-minded people who are just as passionate as I am about art, games, and storytelling. Through the YouTube community and Discord, I've been able to use your feedback to help shape the game, and over the course of development, the game has really become a collaborative effort. Thanks to you guys and my supporters on Patreon, I've been able to take this project further than I ever thought was possible. In the past few months, I've been working hard to make a lot of updates to Crimson Hollow. But out of all the things that I've been working on, the feature that I spent the most time and energy on has been character customization, which turned out to be quite the task. When someone recommends a new game to me, one of the first questions I always ask is, does the game have character customization? Not because games without character customization are bad or anything, but because the ones that have it are my absolute favorite. So when making my dream game, this feature was a must. I began planning for character customization by drawing some sketches of what the user interface could look like. I think clarity is an important aspect of good user experience design, so that was at the forefront of my mind as I was planning. To help with brainstorming, I revisited a lot of my favorite games, like The Sims, World of Warcraft, and Stardew Valley, to see what I enjoyed about those character creation menus, and what I thought would be feasible as a solo developer. After a good amount of research and planning, I decided that the character creation menu would be broken down into 3 main sections: body, clothing, and story. With the planning out of the way, I began to implement my designs. I started working on the body menu by creating new player models that had multiple color sets, which would be later customized in the game. I'm not a 3D modeler, so after I made the orthogonal concept artwork for these models, I paid an experienced 3D modeler to create the new models. After that, I tweaked the models in Unity to better match my art style and baked the new animations for both body types. Skin selection was also added to the body menu, which currently holds 7 preset skin tones for players to swap through. I implemented this feature by using a custom shader from the asset store that allowed me to replace the color sets with a predetermined color. Right now, the darkest skin tone doesn't get quite as dark as it should, but I'm sure I'll get this figured out soon. I also made artwork for a few different hairstyles to test out hair selection. I decided it would be best if all the hairstyles were available for both body types. Currently, there are 3 hairstyles to select from, but more are on the way. We had a fun voting event in December on Discord, in which I self-indulged and drew over 30 hairstyles. These 5 hairstyles were the winners, and will be added to the game soon. If your favorite hairstyle didn't make the cut, don't lose hope just yet because there's still a chance of it getting added later on in development. When it comes to hair color, I wanted the sky to be the limit. I considered making preset colors for the hair as well, but then decided that if I had the power to fully adjust the color of the hair, then so should the players. Using these 3 RGB sliders, players can adjust the hue of the character's hair to find the exact color they want. There's still more elements that I would like to include in the body menu, but for now, this was enough to test out most of the features I designed. As for the clothing menu, players currently have one outfit to start the game, but I plan to have more clothing unlockable during gameplay. The same RGB sliders from before can be used to make the character look unique. I found this part to be a bit tricky, but after tweaking the color swapping shader, I was able to separate the RGB sliders from the hair and clothing. Now that this feature is running smoothly, I plan to separate the colors from top, bottom, and arms so that players can come up with unique combinations. In the next version of the models, I also want to add more details to the clothing and try to make the outfits nearly identical for both body types. As a big fan of role-playing games, the last stage of character creation was actually my favorite part to design. This is where players can pick a backstory for their character, which will result in unique dialogue options and affect player abilities. I always enjoy giving my character a backstory when playing games and try to imagine who they were before the game begins. I took inspiration from the classic archetypes as well as tabletop RPGs when planning out the backstories and ability stats. After a lot of thought, I decided on these 6 backstories for players to pick from and designed art for each story card. The first backstory is the adventurer. For this card, I considered drawing a sword, but that didn't feel like a good fit for the vibe of Crimson Hollow, so instead, I decided that a compass and a traveler's backpack would be more appropriate. Next was the scholar, and at first I was planning to draw a stack of books for this card, but I was already using a book symbol for the backstory button, so instead, I drew an inkwell and parchment with scrolls in the background. After that came the orphan, which I felt a cute teddy bear would be fitting, and also fun to draw. I wanted the teddy bear to seem well loved, so I made it look a little worn out. Next came the aristocrat, who I represented with a pot of gold spilling over. I might go back in later and add a tiara or maybe some kind of jewelry draping over the pot, but this should do for now. Then came the trickster, who is someone who hides behind a mask of humor, so I thought a jester mask would be perfect. Now for the mystic, I kind of cheated because I copied my old art from a graphic design portfolio I made a while ago for grad school, but I thought that a crystal ball went so nicely and didn't see the need to reinvent the wheel. All in all, I had a lot of fun designing the backstory illustrations and planning out how this would affect player abilities. There is of course a lot more that still needs to be fine-tuned. I plan on including a doppelganger in the mirror so that players get a better view of the character. I think it would also be nice if the character did some kind of animation when their backstory is selected, but these are ideas for another day. As for other areas of development, here is a look at some of the latest updates I've made in Crimson Hollow. Overall, progress is being made to the game little by little, and although I'm eager to see how Crimson Hollow turns out, I'm thoroughly enjoying the journey. Before ending the video, I would like to give a huge thank you to the amazing lunar patrons that have been supporting the development of Crimson Hollow. Thanks to you guys, I can continue working on my passion project and keep expanding the world of Crimson Hollow. And a big thank you as always goes to everyone in the community for encouraging me to work hard and stay motivated. If you'd like to stay up to date on the latest in development, you can visit the Crimson Hollow website and join the Discord where I post a weekly Crimson Gazette sharing news with the community. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.